Welcome, it's me, Percita, and this is Percita's Paradox. It is Tuesday. We are excited as always. Why? Because we're living and life is exciting as long as we make it that way. And how do we make it that way? Simply by believing in ourselves and our purpose. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you, your time, and allowing me the opportunity to come and speak with you today. If you are an OG, you know the rules. It's always been you and me. You go way back. I greatly appreciate you. And if you are a new OG, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate the new subscribers as well. So today, just wanted to come on board, jump in really quickly, just give you a quick overview on what I was thinking about today. And what I am thinking about is just simple fate. I say that because I really had an interesting reflective weekend. It was amazing to actually go back into areas that I had not been in as far as my upbringing and, my culture and things like that. And I just hadn't been. I hadn't been in a while. And it was very nice to actually have a reflection on little Percita, right? The individual that I don't always address out loud, but she lives with me daily. And I find myself fighting with her at times about where I think my life should be or could be and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to sit back and talk about fate because I felt like it was something that I just hadn't touched on. And I wanted to give you something brief about it and just give you some nuggets to think about. So in saying all that, I never really thought about how much my culture played a role in what I was going to believe that I could do. I never thought about the words that I had said to myself as a child. I never thought about, just the things that I had been exposed to and the things that I'd really been told or told myself that they were just unattainable. They weren't going to happen. I needed to move on and just kind of figure out a way to just exist as my entire, upbringing in life had been. And don't get me wrong, my family is successful within their own right. And there have been some break-off people or some people who have done some extraordinarily large things, and I'm proud of them. But we all know that we all have that, right, for the most part. But there's a few and far between. And we may not even have the opportunity to communicate with those people once they have actually, let's say, broken the cycle, right? What I find to be interesting is that I'm not paying attention to just what fate actually can mean in my life. And I say that because over the last couple of days, including this past weekend, I ran into a few individuals that I had not seen. And it was pretty amazing to interact with them and hear what I'm going to call their perspective of me right now and my journey and how exactly that meetup was perfect. In the sense of it was a fate meeting for us to meet because of where they are in their life and again, what they think of me. Now, these were some amazing compliments. To be perfectly honest, it was very humbling for me. It was very rewarding for me. I felt from a spiritual place, I felt completely uplifted. I felt as if God was shining down on me and was telling me that I was doing something that was well and he was pleased. And that alone was amazing. But what I say in that is what I never thought about is how that actually aligns. And things like that happen are fate driven, meaning they are predestined, obviously, to be there, but we don't really understand what they are, the impact of what they are, or what that actually means, not only to you, but to the other person or persons that you're running into. So I say that because I really, really must say that I would have never dreamed myself, right, in this place. I would have never dreamed myself to live in this fate. And it's funny because I talk a lot about, just the authority of who you are and walking in your truth and living in your authentic self. But I really want you to understand, if you've never understood before, that it is a journey that I have been on for a very long time. And there were times in my life that I did not feel like I'd ever get to this point. So I say that wholeheartedly, and I hope you can hear me when I say that sometimes you don't understand your fate. You don't understand what your fate will mean to other people's fate. We say a lot of the journey. And I believe that also can be a great adjective. But what I mean by fate is that the spaces that you move through and the timing that you interact with people can be so overwhelming, both good and bad. But thank you, Jesus, mine were good over these last couple of weeks. But it was very touching for me. I found myself speaking to little Percita and actually being able to look her in the face and being able to say, I told you so. And being able to say, you know what, I'm glad that you continue to push me and tell me that I can do better, but I'm very clear in understanding that I've done well. And I don't know if we really think about ourselves that way, because we all have a little small negative within our lives that sits and it permeates in ways that we don't really know. And I like to call it my inner child, right? We all have that, but we don't always really recognize like when we've surpassed even what we were told or told ourselves, and then created this child who always seems to find a way to pull us back into believing that we're still either not enough, or again, you're trying to attain things that aren't attainable, and you should basically move on with your life and keep it pushing and just be happy with sub quota or whatever that would be for you. Or even if you're successful, you should be happy on that particular level. Just hear me when I say that there is never a level that you cannot surpass, and there's never a level that you're supposed to be comfortable on. Even if you're at the biggest of the biggest of the biggest. I never really understood that as much as I understand it now. Meaning I've never met people who are successful who said they don't want to remain successful, or they don't want to get even more successful. They don't want to gain even more notoriety, or whatever you want to look at it. So I say that because the fate of our mindset has a lot to do with just what we're willing to accept, but what we're also willing to receive as far as an applaud for yourself. We typically aren't told that you need to clap for yourself or you need to uplift yourself. We're told, again, that the validation comes from others. But what if you've surpassed that child that really sits inside of you that says you couldn't make it, and you've done it, and others are now telling you that you've done it? The fate of that child's ability to control your mindset, that inner child's ability, right, becomes pretty amazingly weak. And it becomes a thing where you have to stop and say to yourself, you did well. Even if you feel at this stage of your life that you could do better, that's not what I'm saying. You definitely have to stop and say you've done well. Again, I have been told that I am helping people. I have been told that my personality brings forth a sense of accountability. And you have to understand, coming from a upbringing where truth, it didn't come easy for me. It wasn't easy for me to really expose who I am or who I was, right? Because I didn't feel like I was enough. Overachiever by many standards, but still not able to really be comfortable with the greatness that God had given. And now I can honestly tell you wholeheartedly, slightly in an arrogant way, that I'm pretty clear, if not crystal clear, on my purpose and my living and what is pleasing to the spiritual being that I consider to be over my life. And I'm wishing that today for everyone. I'm wishing that on you. I'm hoping that these videos don't only find you in a place of healing, but also find you in a place of accolade, to be able to say to yourself, you're doing it. And don't wait until you've done it. Give yourself a pat on the back. Love on yourself as you're going through the phase of whatever that change is, because you need the validation. And that's something that I didn't really understand. You need the validation, but you need to be able to understand what needing the validation is. It shouldn't be a fuel factor, but it should definitely be a booster. Does that make sense? Meaning it's not, if you were thinking about a stick shift, it's not the first 5 to 6 gears. It's that extra gear when you can downshift and actually take it back. and surpass and maybe go to, the 7th gear. It's that little push that just gives you just that much more of a small push that gets you right to where your next stage is. So I'm thankful. I really want to come forth and say I really do wholeheartedly appreciate everyone taking their time to watch, to share, to be able to give me any sense of feedback, even if you don't feel comfortable, even if you watch me and you know me personally and you feel as if, it'll be strange for you to come and say something to me because maybe you don't feel like you are where you should be or anything of the sort. Know that I am always wholeheartedly wishing you nothing but the best. And I'm always here to talk. And I'm always here without judgment to be able to give you some insight. To be perfectly honest with you, that is what my purpose is. That is what I've really come to understand is my purpose. I am to give you a sense of force and a sense of accountability. I am to give you a gauge that says I'm going to demand the best for you, but also understand that I am still that empathetic soul that remembers what it's like to not complete what you have sought out to do and has not completed even what my journey is. So I'm still learning and I'm still shifting and I'm still in the process of doing whatever God has for me. So don't feel like I'm complete and I'm judging you, because before I can judge you, that little Percita that I talked about, trust me when I tell you I'm dealing with that voice and trying to make sure I'm not being judged. So I just wanted to come to you today and say that your fate is really something that continuously happens, and you have to find each moment within it of your interactions with individuals, your interactions with good and bad things. The fate of your situation is not the end. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's really a moment. It's really a happenstance moment that happens that you transcend to another place, and you're able to then take whatever that knowledge is, hopefully, and make it whatever you need it to be. So I'm thankful for, if you're watching this video and you know who you are and you know who I'm talking about, I'm thankful for you. And I want to definitely send you a shout out and let you know that I am absolutely here for you and loving on you and all of those other things. And if you are not that person, but you're feeling like I could possibly be talking to you, then understand that that is your spirit having a kindred moment with mine. And this is a fate moment between you and I, privately, within your own home or car or whatever it is, that we're connecting for you to know that this channel is not a joke. It is not a game being played. It is not a publicity stunt. It is not a identity of just trying to be big and be something. This is really important to me, and this is really a purpose for me. So in saying all of that, all I'm going to say to you, as I always do, take it super serious today. I need you to live life authentic. In order to be powerful, you have to find a way to align your personality, okay, with your purpose. Once you do that, there's nothing more that you can bring forth than authenticity. Once you are authentic, you are the most powerful you can possibly be. And in saying that, I want you to know that I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. And if there's anything I can do before that, please feel free to let me know. Comment, share, send me an email, smoke screen, whatever it takes. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you. And I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.